Thanks so much for staying with us. You're watching Sunrise Live on E! Now, according to research, deteriorating relationships between fathers and their sons are some of the main contributing factors to social discourse. Relationships in general should be based on respect, love, care, and mutual understanding. We're joined now by Mtsuki, the managing member of SGM Motivations, to talk about the importance of a healthy parent and child relationship. Give us a call on 011-537-9333, or you can SMS us on 33970 if you are brought up in a single mom or single parent household, or you'd like to contribute to this discussion. Simon, good to have you, and thanks.
It's good to be here.
Thanks for your time. You're quite courageous. I mean, for a young man, having written a very compelling article in Drum Magazine online,
yes,
to talk about the importance of father and child relationship. Now, you weren't brought up with your dad in the same household.
Exactly, yes.
And how has that shaped your view of the world?
It's kind of been rough because many of the things or many of the principles that one needs to learn as a young man from a father, one needs to learn from outside. So it's been kind of rough. It's been a whirlpool of experiences that I've had to experience on my own. And I thought that, you know, having a father would have, you know, alerted me to some of the things that I needed to be alerted to, because as we all know, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Yeah.
And just the difficulties from your mom's point of view as well. The fact that the guilt sets in, you know.
Yes.
If I had done certain things, maybe the father would not have run away.
Yes.
Did you have to deal a lot with your mother's own personal conflict?
No, not at all. I mean, my mother's focus has always been on me. She's never, not at all. Now that you actually think about, not say it, and I think about it, I think she's been a great mother. She's been she's sacrificed her whole life for me, and, you know, to a certain extent, I never, you know, the void of a father was never felt. Obviously, as you grow older, you start to notice certain things in retrospect. But my mother has been one of the greatest mothers on earth. Yeah.
We're not glorifying single-parent households, but also you'd rather be in a harmonious environment, as opposed to be in a relationship that is continuously marred with violence and fighting, etc. What would you have wished to have engaged your father on?
On many issues. I think if you read the piece, you would probably see some of the issues that I would have liked to engaged on is in terms of love. I mean, in relationships. How does one deal with certain arguments and certain conflicts in relationship? How does one balance the scale between trying to be, for instance, in conflicts, how does one balance the scale between trying to prove their point, even when they know they're right, but also protect, you know, the dignity of the relationship? A friend of mine or a mentor of mine always said to me, you know, you can be logically right, but relationally wrong. And as sons, we don't really know how to deal with that. How does one deal with, you know, loving in the midst of the holes in character? How does one stay even when there's such disagreements? You know? Yeah.
But despite the life lessons that you've obviously missed out and that solid relationship with your dad, what had been the hardest learnt experience for you? What was so hard in the absence of a father in your experience?
I think hard work. The value of hard work, of putting in a day's work, the ability to, you know, appreciate the value of waking up in the morning and sleeping late at night. I think also one of the things that I noticed last week Friday was coming back from a meeting, and the guys, we had a problem with some electricity connection of ours, and they just had to dig up some hole in the ground. And one of the things that I really felt like doing was going in and helping, and I realized that, you know, this whole being manual labor type thing had never been entrenched in me. And
it doesn't make you any less of a man.
It doesn't make me any less of a man, but, you know, it's one of those things that you really want to learn how to do as a guy around the house. I mean, when the stove was broken, you want to fiddle around with it. I mean, the electricity had a problem, and I didn't know what to do, you know. But it's those small things. I could go on and on, but I mean, it's one of those things. You know, I always say that, you know, a father models how a son ought to be. You know, a father models how, you know, a man ought to act in certain situations. And I think the day-to-day, the lack of a day-to-day relationship with somebody, actually showing you and demonstrating to you how certain things ought to be, became a bit of a problem.
And also during your formidable years, or when you're younger, during puberty, adolescent, etc., it's a great opportunity for that absent father to return and try and influence or shape what you're going to turn out to be.
Yes.
How difficult is it when you're older to try and rekindle that relationship?
It is. I mean, me and my dad have a pretty cool relationship now. It's inconsistent, but you know, it goes on. It becomes actually easier when you're older because you're able to relate more, and the dependence on the mother is kind of less, and because of the experiences become similar, and the ways in which male and female react to problems is very different, as we all know. And I think that because as we mature, you know, the common grounds actually increase, and the relationship is able to spread itself quite wider.
Yeah. Were you satisfied with his explanation of not being there for you?
No, I don't think you'd ever be satisfied. I don't think you'd ever be satisfied by what happened in the past. What you do become satisfied is that you can't change the past, and you try by all means to catch up with your whatever lessons you've missed out on, and make use of the time that you have right now.
Yeah, and live without baggage.
Yeah, you know,
without baggage.
Forgive, yes.
Now you've prepared a special poem. Well, I'm in honor, I suppose, or to sensitize fathers out there if they find themselves, for whatever reason, not being involved directly with their children.
It's just
what's the message? It's
just a you know, a piece from the article that was on the magazine website. It's called Lessons. It's called A Letter to My Lad, which is a couple of lessons that I felt that I would like to share with my son.
You can go into camera.
Okay. Just as my mother wanted me to learn things the hard way, so too do I want you to grow up to be healthy and strong. I want you to walk with men that will sharpen and challenge, that will steer and guide you, men that will pick you up when you are down, that will not celebrate your fall, men that will lead you towards the living waters and away from the waters of the South African breweries. I hope you will understand that he who finds a wife finds a great thing, that he who finds a wife must understand that a woman is not her hair more than she is what she knows. She is not her body, no, not her figure-8 body, nor her sweet lips or her thighs. I'm yet to find out what a real woman is, but I've saved you the trouble by eliminating the wrong answers from the multiple choice of love by telling you what she is not. I hope you will find her. I hope she will be the opposite of what I've earlier mentioned. I hope she will be the bone of your bones and the flesh of your flesh. Thank you.